Hello, hello. Good evening to all who will show. Welcome back to another episode of Take Me Down a Rabbit Hole. We are on episode 54. I just wanted to hop on here real quick before the storm rolls back in on my side. They're throwing tornadoes every which way. So I hope you guys are safe. And hopefully you're in a place where, they have that stuff in place. So I've actually been off the net this week, but one thing that was brought to my attention, which it's hilarious that we kind of talked about it a little bit about a week or so ago. But did you guys see the CEO of McDonald's taking that fake bite into his burger? Now, if you know, you know, because we've been on McDonald's head for a long time. And there was actually a rabbi. I'm gonna show you his words, or let you listen to his words, because he's been outing McDonald's for a very, very long time. So first things first, I'm gonna show you this clip of the CEO fake biting into this burger, and then I'm gonna show you what Rabbi Finkelstein had to say about the, I'm just gonna say, Jews' dealings with McDonald's. Okay. So let me share this with you all here. Okay.
Chris K here with, you've heard about it, here it is, the Big Arch. This is something that we have tested already in Portugal, Germany, Canada. I love this product. It is so good. I'm going to do a tasting right now, but I'm going to eat this for my lunch, just so you know. So here we go. First, holy cow. God, that is a big burger. We've got a very unique kind of sesame.
Not a big burger at all. There are some really big burgers out there. This burger is not a burger. As a matter of fact, it's not even as big as the Big Mac as far as height and stuff is concerned, but whatever.
Poppy sort of bun on it. We've got 2 quarter-pound patties, a delicious Big Arch sauce, and of course some lettuce. So, there's so much going on with this. First of all, let's try to get this thing. I don't even know how to attack it. Got so much to it. Oh, there's also some crispy onions on here as well. I see those kind of coming out. All right, the moment of truth. That is
Look
so
at that
good.
little bitty bite.
It's a big bite for a big arch.
He mostly got the bread. He barely even touched the meat.
McDonald's, only McDonald's could do this type of burger, but it also is
Look at
unlike
that
anything
little
else
bite.
on our menu. It's a delicious product. You've got sort of the cheeses and the gooiness, but those crispy onions as well gives a nice texture. And of course, we've got the pickles. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of my lunch. But Big
Look,
Arch,
it's still in the side of his
probably won't
mouth.
even get it.
Look, it's still in the side. This man ain't fooling nobody. This man is not fooling anybody. It was still in the side of his mouth. He didn't chew it. He just tried to talk his way through it. Listen, this is what we know about McDonald's, right? We've been talking about it. We've been expressing our distaste for it for a long time. Because at first, back in the day, I'm not gonna lie, like McDonald's felt like it tasted good. It felt like it was a good burger and some fries. I really did love the McDonald's fries, but I told you guys about the fries, how they can't even touch it 2 weeks after the potatoes come off the field, because it has so many chemicals and pesticides in it that it even makes the people who are harvesting the potatoes sick. Okay, I know McDonald's is definitely not real food, and you can kind of see that. I mean, just talk to people who have actually worked there and how they make their chicken nuggets and things like that. It's just the nastiest thing. I can't even I can't even watch the videos because it would make me sick, too sick to eat anything else. You know what I mean? Hello, hello, good evening. How are you doing? I'm doing well. I am doing well. But yeah, definitely done with McDonald's. I can't even. Okay, so this is why I know that he knows what's up. these people don't even eat their own food, that they are the CEOs of the company, of the company. He didn't. No, he didn't. He definitely didn't eat the bite. So I'm going to show you this clip. I'm really not even sure how old it is. It's from this guy, Rabbi Finkelstein, and he's pretty much letting you know his relationship, again, I'm going to say it again, the Jews' relationship with McDonald's. And this is my opinion on why the CEO knows better than to bite into the burger. He knows better. So let me share this with you guys. Stop sharing that. We're going to listen to this. We're going to pick it apart a little bit. So if I stop it and all that kind of stuff, that's just what it is.
I know you know because I've heard it on your show before. I mean, we steal 100 to 300,000 children a year just here in this country, and we drain the blood and we mix it with a Passover bread, and then we throw the bodies into the slaughterhouses that we own, and we grind up all the bodies in the sausage and the hamburger. McDonald's is one of our favorite outlets, and the people, they eat it for breakfast, they eat it, their children for lunch, and us Jews, we got to do what we do. The most important thing to remember between you, Pastor Wickstrom, and me, Rabbi Abi Finkelstein of New York, that we both have two fathers, and so that's why we look at the world in two different ways.
I'm going to pause it right there. Did you hear what he said? I'm going to rewind it just in case he's kind of, it's got that little accent.
And, I know you know because I've heard it on your show before. I mean, we steal 100 to 300,000 children a year just here.
They steal 100 to 300,000 children every year. And we talked about what time of the year. I mean, it's all year round, right? But one of their biggest times to kidnap children and sacrifice them and things is when? Halloween.
In this country, and we drain the blood and we mix it with a Passover bread, and then we throw the bodies into the slaughterhouses that we own, and we grind up all the bodies in the sausage and the hamburger. McDonald's is one of our favorite outlets, and the people, they eat it for breakfast, they eat it, their children for lunch, and us Jews, we got to do what we do. The most important thing to remember between you, Pastor Wickstrom, and me, Rabbi Abi Finkelstein of New York, that we both have two fathers, and so that's why we look at the world in two different ways.
Father.
And we know that there's a massive collision that's going to take place between two forces, don't we?
Well, that's what your book says. Our book says that we're going to take over the world.
Well, I look at you.
You're doing a pretty good job right now.
Yes, you've done a pretty good job, but there's quite an awakening coming. And my father, who's not your father, my father Yahweh, who isn't your father, of course, your father is talked about by my father in John 8:44, stating that your father was Satan and that you're the descendant of Cain, who was the first murderer. And that's true because you teach it in your synagogue.
Oh, I'm going to pause it right there because he said a whole mouthful, y'all. That's a word right there. He said we have two fathers. We're dealing with two fathers here. My father is not your father. Okay, your father is Satan, and y'all talk about it in your synagogues. My father is Yahweh. And he said, even in your own books, you're talking about taking over the world. And this is exactly what's going on. This is why they have to shut down everybody who speaks out against the Jews, because they are all in line with the Antichrist. And if you're not in line with the Antichrist, then they're going to take you up out of here. They got to shut you. They got to either take you out now, or they got to shut you up, take down your channels, make you seem like you're crazy, and do all that other foolishness. And you see that these people do not deny what's being said about them, right? You hear that, right? You see that they are taking it and owning it Like, yeah, we are taking over. Our book says that we're going to take over. We are doing a really good job of taking over. And they know that they are doing a good job of putting their key people in place. He said, look up some nutritionist videos that show McDonald's nuggets and McDouble that 10 years old, it doesn't mold or decompose, looks the same as a fresh meal. That's not a real meal. Yeah, I think my brother is actually the one who told me about that. I mean, years ago. This had to be like maybe 20 something years ago. My brother told me about that. I don't know if he knew somebody or somebody had a burger in their pocket on some foolishness, but long story short, it had been sitting there and it had been forgotten about. And when they came back to it, it was like a perfectly good hamburger. You know, they put so much preservatives and stuff in it and so much fake stuff in it. You know, you don't know what you're eating these days. And what's wrong with why can't we just eat real meat? You know what I mean? Like, why do you guys want to feed us all of this nonsense? Because you're trying to kill us off. You know? Hello, hello. How are you? These people are absolutely nuts. But the problem is that they have convinced the world that those of us who see this stuff are the ones that are nuts. They've done a really, really good job of that. And it's almost maddening. You know, it's like, you know that you're right. You know that you see what you see. But they can flip a story like nobody's business. It's amazing, and not in a good way. I haven't had a McDonald's burger in almost 10 years. Glad I've stopped eating it. Yeah. I mean, and again, they duped us, you know, with the whole special sauce, lettuce, cheese, or whatever that song was back in the day that everybody, you know, they knew the lyrics to. And it just felt, and I don't know if it's always been this way. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's always been a fake burger. And I don't even want to even think about that actually, because how long, you know what I mean? How long have we been consuming this, whatever it is? You know, at first I thought the worst of it was just, it was frozen, right? And then they pop it in to their little microwave and serve it to us. I thought that was the worst of it. But for them to come out and say like, yeah, we chop up these babies' bodies and ship that meat to McDonald's is ridiculous. Ridiculous. You're very welcome. I'm doing well. You know, it was a long week for me. To be honest, it was a really long week. But, you know, I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there. I'm still doing what I came to do, so I can't complain, you know. So yeah, exactly. What have we been consuming? And I think it's awesome that I didn't get to watch the other videos, but I saw or heard that the other CEOs of like Five Guys and Wendy's and stuff were coming online and biting into their burgers, having no issue, having no issue with that at all. And because I think that they're real meat. Now, again, Five Guys is really expensive. You know, you're definitely going to, even for one person, you're going to pay about 20 bucks for a burger, fries, and a drink. But I think it's real meat. You said, why does he think his father is Yahweh? So it was the guy who was talking to the rabbi who said that his father is Yahweh. And he was telling the guy who was shopping meat to McDonald's that his father was Satan. And he didn't deny it. He didn't deny it at all. So, okay, but there's more. This is how these people are all interconnected, right? On some 6 degrees of separation type of thing. I'm gonna let you hear a little bit more because he's got more to say. He's got more to say. I guess I got to turn this on every time I bring it up. Okay.
Well, that's true, but it's not for you, Goyim, to know. But right now, it's too late. It's over for you.
Remember what Goyim
So
means.
that's why I'm speaking so honestly here, to bring it out into the open so that you can see it for what it is. You've been teaching the people real good, but they don't wake up, do they? You don't get a lot of followers, do they? Because you know why? They're scared of us Jews, because they don't want to be called anti-Semites, and they believe that we're the chosen people. And so that's why we can do whatever we want to do, and we can get away with it because the white men are cowards. And we go to the synagogue all the time and have some Manischewitz and dance the Hava Nagila.
You know, it's interesting. I've told people for years and years, it's not that you Jews are hiding anything. You're coming right out on television, in the newspapers, on the radio, and you're telling the people exactly what you're going to do before you do it, and they're like they're brain dead.
Well, we did a good job with the public school system. We got you to put all of your children in there. You notice that the Jew doesn't put his children in there. They go to the Hebrew Academy, where we teach them the real things, and then they go to the synagogue and they learn the real important things. But we send your kids to the public school. We even have you tax yourself from your property so that you never own your property. And so if you don't make your property tax, we're going to take your property. You can bet on that. And we have you put your kid in a 12-year babysitting is about all it does, because you don't learn anything. And then by that time, the kids, they get to be teenagers, and then we give them the music. Not that we really want to call it music, because, oy vey, that's not music. But they listen to that, and then they want to do what they want to do, and so we sell them drugs, and we make a lot of money off your children from cradle to grave. All we do is make money off of them. Your cattle, your goyim, the human cattle.
Oh my gosh, listen to this guy go off. Listen to him go off. Or did you hear what he's saying? Did you hear what he's saying? They set up the system so well. They put the people in place so well that, again, he said that y'all send y'all kids to public schools. We don't send our kids there. So as you can see, just looking around at a lot of these school systems, back in the day, they used to actually teach us, reading, writing, arithmetic, and things like that. Nowadays, I heard they're even taking away analog clocks because the kids don't know how to read them. But back in my day, they taught, like, we didn't come into school knowing how to read an analog clock. They taught us that. But they were refusing to teach these kids anything anymore. And you know what's so interesting? Do you know who owned the publishing for the textbooks back in like the early 80s and 90s? Do you know who that was? I'm about to show you who it was. This guy right here by the name of Robert Maxwell. Okay. He was a Jew, escaped from a Nazi camp, very decorated in the British Army, but he ended up buying out. If you remember, I don't know if it was called Macmillan before, but he ended up buying, that big old company, Macmillan. He bought it for like $12.8 billion. Now imagine having $12.8 billion in the early 80s and 90s. This guy had mad money. And then when he died, he ends up dying this mysterious death. They found his body floating when he went on his yacht one day. And so then it was taken over by McGraw-Hill, which is probably the name that you recognize these days. But yeah, he was the guy that was over the publishing for the textbooks. And if you know this guy, Kent Hovind, he's really, really big on, back in the day, he was really big on exposing the lies in the textbooks. But guess who he's the daddy of? Guess who this Robert C. Maxwell is the daddy of? Ghislaine Maxwell. Yes, the same Ghislaine Maxwell that's tied in with the sex trafficking and procurement of these children. So again, they take our children, put them in these public school systems, teach them all this nonsense, teach them how to deny God, teach them, just they're not facts, right? They teach us lies. They get the kids' minds all mixed up so that they go the wrong way. And then again, remember how I talked about last week, what are they doing to the weakest of us? What are they doing to the weakest of us? They are teaching them how to destroy themselves, just like Balaam did in the Bible. When he wasn't able to curse the children of Israel, he taught them how to curse themselves. So when your kids are going to school and they thinking they're not all important and that there's no purpose for them, there's no purpose to the world, they get them in this deep depressed state, got them thinking that they can be a boy and, when they're really a girl and vice versa, when they're telling them that, their freaking reproductive organs don't even matter. You can just cut them up, throw them in the trash, all of this nonsense. They get them in such a low state. Some of these kids running away from home, and guess what ends up happening? They get snatched off the streets. They get taken underground. They either put them into these sex trafficking rings or they end up getting sacrificed, or both. And again, it's the same people in places, in play. They all know each other. It's not a freaking coincidence that this man had dealings with the public school system and then his daughter is doing all this foolishness. It's just amazing. He said, I was just watching. Oh, thank you. Said, good. Glad to hear that. You were just watching your Chris Brown Indigo video yesterday. Yeah. Chris Brown, Indigo children. It's a real thing. And there's a lot of people that believe that they are these special entities that have come from other planets. He's not the only one. He's probably the most popular one, but he's definitely not the only one. And again, you get these people and even him, not to take away from his talent at all, because we obviously know that he's talented, but these are the people that make it to the tippy top. And so they're able to spread their ideology, down, I hate to say it, but down the pyramid, because people think that when you're in power like that, when you're at that type of level, then they think that you're God. And so if you've ever noticed you're having a conversation with somebody and you know that you're spitting real facts, especially because the word said so, and people are like, well, do you have a such and such degree? It's like, I don't need a degree to have common sense. And I think they're showing that a lot. I don't know if you've seen all these people getting locked up. There's people that are playing fake doctors and actually healing people. Or there was a lawyer, oh man, they had to arrest his behind because he was practicing law, but he was winning all his cases. And then they found out, oh, you didn't go to school for this. You didn't pass the bar. You didn't do any of this stuff. And so they had to lock him up. But again, it just goes to show you that they try to make it seem like you don't have any knowledge because you're not in a particular place of authority. But again, you don't have to have a degree to have common sense. And the same way they got the degree, which is by reading and studying and doing all that stuff, is the same way that a layman can do it in their own time. They just might not have the, credentials to show for it. but that doesn't mean that you're ignorant. But that's the game that they're using against us. You know, that's the game. This is the game that they're playing. So you just got to be very, very cautious. Very, very cautious. What is, you know, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. So, all right, listen, I appreciate it. Just got to, again, be vigilant out there. Be vigilant out there. You know, another thing that I saw, y'all, oh my goodness. So this is probably one of the dumbest things that I've seen. And we're just talking about the influence the influence on, you know, who they're putting in positions to influence. So apparently, Meg Thee Stallion has a new anime coming out. Did y'all hear about that? She's got a new anime coming out. And the anime is called Hotties. And guess what her superpower is? Guess what her superpower is? Let me show y'all this real quick. I think this is where I saw it. Let me make sure. Yeah, let me y'all have got to see this because this is where the world is going. Well, it's already gone there. It's already gone there. Twerking. Thank you. Whoever said that. Okay. Did I hold on, let me make sure I did that correctly. Sorry. What are we doing? What are we doing? Her superpowers are twerking. I don't know what. Listen, I don't know how. I don't even know where to go with this. I don't know how that's supposed to defeat the enemy. I don't know. But baby, when she turned around and clapped them cheeks, I'm sorry, I fell out over here. What are we doing? What are we doing? And that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so yes, very sad. And it is stupid. It's very, very stupid. And I think so. And that is my question. Is this tailored to kids? Because listen, I know that there's a lot of adults that watch anime. A lot of adults that watch anime. I don't know who Meg Thee Stallion's followers are. You know, I don't know what the age range is. I don't see her audience being, you know, the 40s and ups women so much. I obviously, you know, the 20-year-olds and stuff, the whole hotties thing. But I think it's enough to even have the 20-year-olds and the 30-year-olds, you know, this being the influence. It can be very graphic. I agree. I definitely agree. And I think they always have the women sexualized in some type of way. You know, they always have this figure, you know, the breasts are always out and, you know, doing what they do. But you're right. I that's my question. Is this tailored to kids? And what are we supposed to gain from this? Because so far, what we're seeing is that instead of, prostitution and all that kind of stuff being shamed like it was back in the day, yeah, we knew that there were always prostitutes and, sex workers and promiscuous people. We always knew that. But it wasn't out in the open. It wasn't something that you talked about. It wasn't even, even when you made a mistake, and I hate to say mistake, but if you messed around and got pregnant young, it wasn't something that you flaunted back in my day. I knew people, and not that anybody had shamed them or said anything to them, but they just knew better. I knew people that had stopped going to church and stuff after they got pregnant, in high school. And again, I'm not saying that that's right, because, we need to definitely bring them into the fold and love on people, but it wasn't celebrated. And now that's really all you have. And actually, women are even getting tired of it these days. They're like, you know what? I ain't going to no more baby showers. Invite me to your wedding. Stop inviting me to your baby showers. But you've got young girls seeing this and thinking that this is the way to go. Like I don't know. This is just a mess. Exactly. Not a thing is to be gained from this. And I think that from what I've heard, and if somebody can explain it to me, I would really like to understand, but they say that it's taking your power back. If you can sexualize yourself before someone else does, or it's I've really heard it from people who have been hurt when they were younger. And if you know what I mean by hurt, they always say, well, I'm taking my power back. And so by that, I just sexy on my own, and I do this, I sleep around with all these guys on my own. I just don't think it's good. And it's another push towards matriarchy. And I know everybody's upset at the patriarchy right now, right? I know that it's being frowned upon right now, but the only reason why, I'm not going to say the only reason why I'm against this whole women coming into power thing is because I have read the text. I've read the literature of the witchcraft flame, which is pretty much the witchcraft path, the left-hand path. And it's going to all happen by bringing the women into power. They've got a whole system. I've talked about this in depth. They have a whole system set up in order to do this. And I know women, don't get me wrong, I know that we're looking, because we're looking for equality, we're looking for equity, we're looking for different things like that. But a lot of the women in the so-called movement are being used for evil, and they don't know it. And remember, it was Eve who was deceived. Eve was beguiled. And she's doing it again in 2026. So yeah, yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't know what else to say besides that. Free Tory. Free Tory. But Meg's the Stallion. She's gonna do what she has to do to stay on top. And I think this is all she has to offer. And to be honest, like, I really like her, her freestyling, but You know, this is all that she has to offer, unfortunately. And she's going to show the young girls that that's all they have to offer as well. But I don't know. You can't make it up. So, anyways, what else is new, y'all? What else? I'm not going to run my mouth for too long tonight. But what else is new? Do y'all think that TMZ should be rated? I know that this is a random segue, but Randy Quaid. Do y'all know who Randy Quaid is? He's an actor. He's the brother of I think his brother's name is Dennis, if I'm not mistaken. But Randy Quaid, he's an older guy. So he's I'll look up his age right now, but he's an older guy. I don't really know too many movies that he's been in, but probably about 10, maybe even a little longer ago, Randy spoke out because a lot of his friends in the industry were dying. And they were dying in mysterious ways. Like one of his friends by the name of David Carradine, he passed away because it, they ruled it a suicide. But what was weird about it is that his tie or his belt or whatever was around his neck, but it was tied around the doorknob of the closet door. Now I want you to picture that. It wasn't high up to where he could hang from it. It was the doorknob on the closet door. And so let me see if I can even find this where he was talking, because he came out speaking about it. He called them star whackers. Let me see if I can look up that video real quick. Okay, I found it, y'all. Hold on just a second. Let me share this with you so you can see what I'm talking about. Randy Quaid. Okay, so that's pretty much hopefully. Oh, I'm so sorry, y'all. I don't know why it does that. I apologize. Hold on. Let me do that again. I guess I have to every time I share, I gotta hit this little button. Okay, give me 2 seconds. I'll share it again.
For the past 20 years, my wife Evie and I have been the victims of criminal activities perpetrated by a small network of individuals who are out to destroy us personally, professionally, and financially. This network of individuals is manipulating the banking system and the criminal justice system for the purposes of sabotaging our credit and our credibility. Up until a year ago, Evie and I had never had any run-in with the law whatsoever. We are not criminals, nor are we fugitives from justice, nor are we crazy. We are simply artists and filmmakers who are being racketeered on. We believe there are to be a malignant tumor of star whackers in Hollywood. How many people do you know personally who have died suddenly and mysteriously in the past 5 years? I have personally known 8 actors, all of whom I have worked with and was close to. Heath Ledger, Chris Penn, David Carradine among them. I believe these actors were whacked, and I believe that many others, such as Britney Spears, Lindsay Lohan, and Mel Gibson, are being played to get at their money. In the meantime, many a celebrity's image and marketability is being co-opted, and destroyed. Google helps out by keeping the negative stories near the top of a celebrity's webpage.
Okay, so that's pretty much what he said, y'all. Sounds a little low. Oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah, okay, so you never heard of him, but okay, so Dennis, so Randy is the older brother. So he's just pretty much speaking out about the fact that he thinks that there are a group of so-called star whackers. And he was asking if they had known anybody, who had passed away in the last 5 years or so. He said that he's known 8 people, and they were all close friends of him. And he starts naming names again, the David Carradine, who I was just speaking about. He also named Heath Ledger, which Heath Ledger had some weird stuff surrounding him. Not only was he a victim of method acting, where they get so immersed in their role that it pretty much possesses them and they can't get out of character. I don't know if you guys have heard about that, but there's a few method actors who admit to being method actors, but they become possessed with the spirits of the characters that they're trying to play, and it never leaves them. And so for Heath Ledger, unfortunately, people feel like it's led to his demise. But not only that, one of the Olsen twins supposedly had given him some drugs that he overdosed on. So that was a big conspiracy when all that happened. But again, David Carradine's death was really weird. He talked about how he feels like some of these celebrities are being got for their money, like Britney Spears and Mel Gibson. So anyways, Randy Quaid comes out with a tweet the other day. He said that Harvey Levin and TMZ should be raided by the FBI in regard to a host of celebrity murders that they reported on first. And then he mentions the Epstein files and Nancy Guthrie. And so people have brought this up before. Have y'all noticed that TMZ is at the location? They are always at the murders or when people die, they're always there first. They're always the first to report on it. And it's like, it's the weirdest thing. And I don't think I started even really thinking that about TMZ until Kobe died. They had the whole entire footage of the helicopter and it blowing up and the location that it was in. And I was like, how did y'all, when did, it just didn't add up to me. And so I'm actually with Randy on this one because he's been talking about it for a long time. You know, like they're taking his friends out. Yeah, I should have read more about what he said. Oh, somebody was responding to him saying that they said, however, calling for raids on individuals or organizations such as Harvey Levin or TMZ without verified evidence of wrongdoing is a serious claim. And the U.S. agencies like the Federal Bureau of Investigation can only act based on credible evidence and legal standards. See, and again, I understand what they're saying, but again, this is a way of shutting people down, especially people who are in the industry and who are probably really close to this type of stuff going on. And you will sit there and say, oh, well, you know, you don't have the evidence. Yeah, okay. You might be right. But again, things that make you go, why is it that they're always there? Heck, they had clips of freaking, remember when what's that boy's name? Lil Nas X was butt naked down on Hollywood Boulevard. They had all the clips of him. They even had Kanika's mama. Remember when she ended up getting butt naked on the same spot that Lil Nas X was? I know I didn't get to talk about that. I wasn't feeling well around that time, but she came out. She ended up coming out saying that, yeah, she did take bribe money to shut up. In some kind of way, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is about that spot on Hollywood Boulevard that makes you take your clothes off and walk in your birthday suit down the street. But TMZ was the first people to have it. You said TMZ is the police. No, they're the FBI. There's something. They're definitely, and I don't know if it's the 3-letter, you know, is it a coincidence that they're a 3-letter, you know, name, just like the 3-letter agencies? I don't know. I don't know. He said they're probably paying TMZ. TMZ is connected in some way. Yeah, they've got to be. And Harvey, he's a lawyer, you know. So again, you've got someone who's of authority in a higher up position who knows how to. Again, he knows how to spin things. He definitely knows how to spin things. He said that's deep. It's crazy. Hollywood Boulevard is a magical place. Got to be a magical place for you to do that on. And you know what's also weird? I don't know. It's like it's always dead quiet when those things are going on. There's no one else in the background of these videos when these people are going crazy and I shouldn't say they're going crazy, but when they're doing these things, where are all the people at? Like, why are you the only one there? I'm with Randy. I'm with Randy. He's not been quiet about what's been going on in Hollywood, and we got to see what's up for sure. He said, I feel when they do stuff like that, it's part of a humiliation ritual. Yes, definitely. Because didn't they say that they didn't find any drugs in Lil Nas X's system when all that happened? If I'm mistaken, like they couldn't find anything that would prompt him to do that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. This is just some crazy stuff. But there definitely needs to be an investigation. Because ain't no way. It just ain't no way. But I guess, yeah. I don't know what's going on. But you would think that, I don't know. I guess it's amazing that people are still going to Hollywood trying to get on, even after they see. I guess it amazes me how they're still trying to go the route of the people that have to do these humiliation rituals. You know, I don't know. But I don't know if you've seen, but Dame Dash, he's still, oh man, Dame is, he's he wants to get revenge. He wants to avenge Aaliyah's death. He's talking more now. I'm just thinking like a lot of celebrities are ready to start talking, and we've seen that for a couple of years now. I don't think it's going to do anything. I don't think it's going to do a thing at all, actually. Because even if people did find out what was going on in the industry, it's almost too late now. Yeah, it's almost way too late. But I guess you said absolutely. Celebrities are talking because of so-called Trump demands in the White House. Really? I can see them trying to distance themselves for sure. Trying to make it seem like they weren't in it. They were just like the Leave at 12 people. I can see that. And I know that's why a lot of them hate him, because they're getting outed. And the people that they were nearest to are getting outed. And so they want him to shut up as fast as possible, because it's a good chance their name might be mentioned. That's what I heard. I've been hearing that since about 2019. That he was the one that put the task force in place. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but the task force in place that was breaking up all of these sex trafficking rings and underground and all that kind of stuff. I even showed y'all the clip. I don't know if they took that one down, but I remember showing y'all the clip of the children being rescued from underground at the White House. That might be in the what video is that? Down a Dumb Hole with Britney Spears. I might have put a clip of it in that, if they didn't force me to take it out. So Down the Dumb Hole with Britney Spears. But yeah, I heard he was the one that put the task force in place. And they were going and, finding all these kids in the tunnels and all that kind of stuff. And then that was also around the time where a lot of bombs and stuff were going off. And they were saying, the claim was that they were blowing up a lot of these tunnels. Because remember, their system is an interworking system. Their system runs all around, not even just North America, but it reaches overseas as well. Because one of the things that I showed you guys in that particular video that I'm speaking of is their headquarters, like Illuminati type of headquarters, is in Canberra, Australia. And I happened upon that information on just, again, Brittany. If y'all haven't seen the video, Brittany had posted 3 pictures on her Twitter. And for the longest time, when I tell y'all I saw on it for months, I was looking it up. I was trying to Google, what are these places or whatever. And then all the information started, coming in. Now, the whole time I'm thinking that Sydney is the capital of Australia. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that's what I learned growing up. Sydney is not the capital of Australia. Canberra is. And Canberra has one of the biggest dams in the world. If you don't know what a dam is, it's a deep underground military base. And then another one of her pictures was of like a cathedral. And that, of course, tied to the Vatican. And that's when I found out the whole, like we talked about last week, the whole Jesuit priest who came out and said that the Vatican created Islam. And then the other picture, I can't remember exactly what the other picture was. Anyway, it's in the video. Go watch it. But Brittany's been talking. She's been trying to say something for a long time. And unfortunately, old girl just got arrested for supposed DUI the other day. And, who even knows if she was DUI, but they are definitely going to try to, if she's not out of the conservatorship, which I doubt that she is, they're going to make sure that she stays in that conservatorship. And what's crazy is that Britney Spears is on the list, on the whole Gitmo list. And what it says about her is that she's going to be, I don't know the words that they use, but pretty much incarcerated forever. And so I don't know if that means, from what I'm seeing, it doesn't mean that she's going to be in prison. Obviously, she'd be in her little foyer dancing around, but I think that's what it means. That she's going to be under this conservatorship for the rest of her life. And so they're going to do whatever they can to keep her in it. It's just crazy. Trump should shake down people like Kevin Federline. That white punk got away with bull crap. Listen. And see, so I was around when that whole shebang went down. Like, I get it. He came after her money or whatever, or, he wanted child support or whatever he wanted. But I don't think he was one of the ones that were trying to entrap her. She was pretty much, I don't want to call her crazy, y'all. I don't want to say that, but just for the lack of words right now, she was already going crazy at that point. And even her kids didn't want to be around her. Her sons did not want anything to do with her. I think one of them now is kind of like coming around, but they weren't fooling with Britney Spears. And he has been raising them boys for a long time, and we haven't heard nothing about them. I'll be honest, we ain't heard nothing about them. They haven't been in any trouble. We haven't heard about any mental issues. They haven't. So I don't want to say anything bad about him, but I get where you're coming from. he definitely tried to get that money. And I know people try to take away from who he was, but he was, he is somebody. He was a choreographer, dancer. He had his own lane. So I won't talk down on him. I just told my mom about the underground stuff last week. Yeah. And what's crazy is, they can't deny it. Obviously, they have pictures. You know, you might have to go them, but there are definitely pictures of these underground military bases and the inside of them, not just that they exist, not even just the outside. They show you the bunkers, they show you the food that they have stocked up, they show you the little beds and stuff that they already have in place down there. They show you the planes and jets and just all kinds of different aircrafts down there. Like they're big enough to fit these type of things below. So if you haven't seen them, look them up. It's for real. And the Dumb Twos are the underground military bases that are underwater. They're on the seashores. And they even have submarines that can go and stay underwater for 3 months, at a time. So these people think that they're going to be able to escape the day of the Lord. This is what these people really honestly believe. Like they might be able to, run and hide there as they're nuking everything and there's wars and stuff going on, but they're not going to be able to escape the day of the Lord. I heard Wanda Sykes is on the list too. Oh, my memory is... I don't remember seeing Wanda Sykes on that list. I'll have to go back and look at it, but I don't remember seeing Wanda. Let me see if I can pull it up while I'm on here with y'all, but I don't remember seeing her name. And I really haven't heard anything about her. Not that that matters, right? Because obviously stuff comes out all the time. But maybe I have. They might have had her in like the treason section. The people who are treasonous to the U.S. and going against it. I don't know, but I'll have to look it up. But I heard that Ellen DeGeneres is trying to make a comeback to the U.S. and people are like, no. She had to run for a good little time, but I think people are finally starting to see who this lady is and who she's been. So I don't know what's going to go on with that because, she was one of the people that ran to another country, supposedly where they don't have extradition. Overall down with Hollywood and their gay beliefs. Yeah. Yeah, she's definitely down with that. I just haven't heard her with, as far as like the children and the sacrifices and stuff are concerned. I haven't heard her with that. You said Ella DeGeneres is a flash in the pan lesbian. Yeah, she's a whole bunch of stuff. I've heard just not so nice things about her and her character, and they even show her with, I don't know if you guys have seen the whole, Eats-A-Gate rabbit hole. I don't know if you guys have been down that. Hold on, let me pull up something real quick. Just in case some of you all are new to this whole thing. Let me see if I can even find it. Generous hoodie shirt. I don't even know what I would look up to find this. Yeah, okay. Let's see here. Okay, so let me show y'all this real quick. For those who haven't seen it. So this right here is a very controversial hoodie where people feel like she is mocking a sacrifice. Okay. This little thing right here, it's like, I don't know if that's a bloody face. I don't know if it's a demon face or what it is. Okay. But people felt like it really looked like this right here. Now, I know that they're just playing, you know, this is not the actual movie, but if you've ever seen the movie Castaway, remember when Tom Hanks becomes best friends with this ball here? Okay, and at some point, his hand gets really bloody. I forget what exactly he was doing, but his hand gets really bloody, and he ends up making this handprint on this ball here. And so people felt like, okay, well, that kind of looks like the freaking demon or the bloody face that was on Ellen's shirt. And then they started likening it to the whole situation with Killary and her being on videotape sacrificing that child. Okay. And then on top of that, because we all know Tom Hanks is down with the get down, and that's why he's not in the United States right now. He fled to Greece so fast. Ooh, he fled. I can't even watch Forrest Gump to this day after I found out who the heck Tom Hanks was, and I used to love that movie. But what was I about to say? Oh, the shirt is from this brand called Off-White. Do y'all know who the creator of Off-White is? So I don't, can I bring up that? I can't, I'm not, oh wait, I might be able to bring up this 1953 Trust. 53 Trust versus Latham. Oh wait, Latham versus 1953 Trust. Okay, so Off-White was created by a guy by the name of Virgil Abloh. I'll bring him up so you can see him. Abloh. Sorry, y'all, got to show y'all this so y'all see what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay, so you see him. So Virgil Abloh is the creator of that shirt, brand of Off-White. Virgil Abloh, right around, I don't know if it was 2019, but pretty much right around when all this stuff really started coming out and QAnon was, you know, telling the business, he ends up mysteriously dying. But not only that, the federal indictment that was back from 2019 that literally said that Jay-Z, Epstein, Weinstein were all co-conspirators for the last 30 years in this sex trafficking ring. He was on the indictment as well. He is one of the plaintiffs as well. No, I'm sorry. He's one of the defendants as well. And then he just ends up dying just out the blue. Supposedly, I think he had cancer or something like that. But again, it's kind of like, you got way too many ties to these people who we know are in it. And you're creating t-shirts and stuff for them to wear with weird faces and stuff on them with freaking blood and all that kind of stuff. And then once names start dropping who are tied to the scandal, then you end up mysteriously dying. No. So people thought that was pretty strange. Ever since the Pizzagate scandal, I couldn't look or eat pizza the same way again. Wait, hold up. I got to check on my pizza. Listen, they are not going to keep me from it. I love, and I felt like that too. I'm not going to lie, because it's kind of like, okay, well, if you say that you love pizza, are people going to be looking at you upside your head? I absolutely felt the same way. Yeah. And I hate that they used that, right? I hate that they used pizza because I love some pizza. People know I'm always at Little Caesars or whatever, getting a little, large pizza or whatever, or them little puffers. What do they call them? Puffers. Anyway, I won't go on a tangent, but I hated that they use that food. But yeah, I hate that people still try to deny it when, again, there's footage, when there's video on it. I don't know how I got there. I started talking about, somebody brought up Wanda Sykes, and then we started talking about lesbians, and then Ellen DeGeneres got brought up. Okay, now I know where we're at. But yeah, craziness. But back to Randy Quaid, because he also name dropped Lindsay Lohan. And have y'all seen that strange video where they're, I don't even know where in the heck she was. I just remember that it had to have been cold there because you could see their breath or whatever. But when she was trying to kidnap that child in front of that child's mom, and they ended up having to beat her down. Do y'all remember that video? Or have y'all seen it? They had to wrestle their child away from Lindsay Lohan. And she tried to let me see if I can find it. She tried to make this excuse on why she was doing it. She tried to make an excuse, and she was slurring her words. Hold on. I think. Okay, I found it, y'all. If y'all don't know, DuckDuckGo has a lot of stuff. If you can't find it, I don't even Google stuff. I wouldn't even try because they'll definitely stop it. But hold on, let me show y'all this craziness right here. Oh, wait, hold on. Gotta share the sound. Stop it. Lindsay Lohan.
Tell me your story so I can help you. Do you want to stay in a hotel tonight? Do you want to watch movies? Yeah. It'd be so cool, right? To watch a movie on TV or a computer. Yeah. Let's go. You should not have them on the floor. You should be a hardworking woman. I'm freezing right now. And you should be doing what you do for your children so they have a better life. And if someone's offering them a home and a bed, which is me at this moment, give it to them. Look what's happening. They're trafficking children. Mashallah. I won't leave until I take you. Now I know who you are. Don't with me. You're ruining agriculture by doing this. Give me just, I'm like in shock right now.
So she tries to accuse, first of all, trying to shame that mother. I don't know what her situation is, but oh, you should be a hardworking woman and this and that. Listen, I would have had get out of my face. I would have told her to get out of my face. But then she tries to take the children and claim that they're the kidnappers. They look like they were a happy family. They might have been cold, but they look like they were chilling. They were all together. They were looking at her like she was crazy. And then she's in shock when she tries to snatch them up and they don't, and they, it looked like they laid hands on her. I think they laid some hands on her. But so I just thought it was crazy that he mentioned her. And not that he has to know the ins and outs of everything that's going on with her, but I just remember that clip being a weird one. Like, what is she doing? What was the point of that? Were you just going to take the child to your hotel room, or were you taking the whole family? I don't know. Because some of these people, like we've seen before, like the Ashton Kutchers, they get in real close to these organizations and these, so that they can know the ins and outs of what's going on, and they can let people know. But I did see Tim Tebow. I think Tim Tebow is really genuine, and he's actually a really big advocate. I saw a press conference with him the other day, and he was speaking out, trying to get more hands on the ground to combat this. So there's people working on, both sides. But he's always been I remember when he first started, speaking the name of Christ and things like that, and they were really trying to shut him down. So it's actually good to see that he's still fighting. So Tim Tebow urges Congress to fight child trafficking, abuse, and emotional plea. Darkest hour in need. He's already supported more than 50 safe houses across the United States and has more on the way. So yeah, he's fighting, but yeah, I definitely heard that about Trump. And I think that's why everybody's mad now. I even, what's so funny? I was watching a movie the other day called The Associate with Whoopi Goldberg. It's an old movie. And guess who was in that movie? Trump. Donald Trump was in that movie, playing the same role that he always plays, a big business mogul who, they need him to buy into their business and things like that, always playing the same exact role. And again, nobody had an issue. They loved him. They loved him. They, he was in all these TV series. He was in all these movies. And as soon as he became president and supposedly was trying to shut down the industry, they had a problem. Crazy, crazy. He said it's kind of confusing and weird to see these celebrities talk against them, but still be in Hollywood or be a part of the entertainment business. Yeah. And I know that a lot of people are, definitely they have felt the ins and outs of what goes on. And so they are more so finding work in the Chitlin circuit, doing independent films and stuff like that. You know who talks a lot of wisdom? I don't know if you guys are, or if everybody's familiar with, but I've been watching a lot of his interviews the past week, Jason Weaver. If you want to hear some real, just someone who's really grounded and has kept his nose clean in the industry, Jason Weaver he played young Michael Jackson in the, what is it? It was called The American Story. Y'all, please forgive me. I'll be honest. I've never seen it. But anyways, he played young Michael Jackson there. He's the singing voice of Simba in The Lion King. He's a singer, he's an actor, but he's been in the industry since he was 5 years old. And his mother was in the industry as well. And so she really helped him how to, teach him how to navigate the ins and outs and stuff. And so he really talks, number one, he talks a lot about God and how he stayed prayed up and how he stayed away. He minded his business. He kept his nose out of people's business, kind of just did his work and went home type of thing. But him and Omar Gooding, who is Cuba Gooding Jr.'s brother, they really talk about how to be in this industry, but not be in the industry. And so it kind of shows you that there's ways to do it. But again, you have people that want to take the shortcut. They want the fast money now. They want the fame. They want the fame. And, they don't count the cost of what comes with that. And it's sad that that's the way that it is. Sad that that's the way that it is. And, I think back on it because when I was younger, there was I don't know exactly what show it was, but they were casting for a show with, children. And my brother actually got picked. And my mom wouldn't let him do it because I didn't get picked too. So she wanted, I guess, my mom is kind of like, if one has it, then the other needs to have it or whatever. And I look back on that now, like, man, my brother was a cute little boy. And I just hate to even see what they would have tried to do, or what type of trauma they would have inflicted on him. And so I'm glad, I guess it, was a blessing because I definitely didn't know what I know now about it. And my mom for sure doesn't know. My mom, she doesn't really even like all that stuff anyways. So I know she wouldn't have had her ears to the street in that way. He said, I got a notification about a video on Jason Weaver speaking about them, but I haven't watched it yet. Yeah, he's actually on the Art of Dialogue right now, doing his interview. And so, yeah, it's been really good. Just a real humble guy, just really has a lot of wisdom. And so I think his, and again, Omar's is the one that I like the best. The favorite thing that I heard Omar say was how his family didn't have anything and they were living in the car, and how his mom would pretty much sing hymns every day. Oh, we're gonna have an apartment and we're gonna have a car, but she was singing to the Lord, like, we're gonna have these things. And she said, and he said, You know, she was singing every day, and then all of a sudden we had a place to stay, and then all of a sudden we had a car, and then all of a sudden, you know, me and my brother had a career, and it just goes to show the power of prayer. And so those two guys really, really have spoken on that. So again, refreshing to hear. I'll probably say one last thing. Beware of this new representative. His name is Talarico, if I'm not mistaken. He's like all the rave right now. And there's a really good chance that he's going to be chosen as, if he hasn't already been, I don't know if the elections went by already, but as a congressman in Texas. But he's another antichrist. He's another antichrist who is pushing Judaism. And at first, you know, the first thing I heard him say, because his little ads come up as I'm watching TV, his little ads come up, and he was really speaking hard. Oh, you know, we're going to combat the anti-abortionists. And I said, oh, okay. And at that time, didn't know that he was supposed to be a Christian. But now I'm hearing him say all kinds of stuff. I was watching a channel earlier, and they were pretty much speaking about the same thing. And he was, you know, oh, well, Christ didn't say to worship him. You know, the only thing that he said was love your neighbor. And that means all of our, you know, just the whole, you know, all the talking points of, and I'm not saying that it's wrong to love your neighbor, right? We are supposed to love our neighbor. But the way that his rhetoric was that we should love our neighbor in everything that they're doing. You know, so of course that means that you can't be opposed to the trans ideology, you know, and things like that. It always ends up coming to those things because you're not allowed to oppose the trans ideology because you're gonna start opposing Satan. Pretty much, you're gonna start opposing Baphomet. You're gonna start seeing the link between the trans ideology and the Baphomet, and so they're shutting down anybody who's opposed to it. I'll just put it out there like that. I can't say it any plainer than that. And the scripture that he used, or that he's using to try to push this, is that, hold on, no male or female. Hold on, let me find that scripture real quick. Sorry, it's like I have a little bit of the scripture, but I don't remember exactly. Okay, so he's using the scripture, Galatians 3:28-29, where it says, there is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither bond nor free, there is neither male nor female. Ye are all one in Jesus Christ, or Christ Jesus. So he's using that to, again, tell us that we need to be accepting of the trans ideology. So just be aware of him. That's all I really want to say, and I'll leave it with that. Just be aware of him, because he's trying to speak out against Christian nationalism, and I don't know exactly what that's supposed to be in a nutshell, but I know that you're not allowed to be white, you're not allowed to be Christian, and you're not allowed to be You're not allowed to follow the scriptures. And they use that to shun those people that fit into those categories, and then in turn, of course, if you believe in the scriptures, they'll try to put you in the box of being a nationalist, a Christian nationalist. And he says that we're not supposed to love the scriptures, is what he said. So I just think that that's another person that's being put in place to usher us in and usher, to the new world order. So don't fall for his rhetoric. Is all I want to say. But I am done running my mouth. I owe you a video. I'm working on it. I'm done writing, but I always, especially when it comes to things that are dealing with the Bible, or if it has facts, that come out of that, I definitely always want to make sure that I'm prayed up and I get all the information that I need. So I'm almost done with it. So you should see that video shortly, and then I'll start working my way through the rest of the list. So again, if you do have any suggestions, you need me to write about anything, please feel free to reach out to me and let me know. But other than that, I thank you so much. Those who like, share, comment, those of you who are subscribed, those of you who join the live, those of you who support on the Patreon. I'm so thankful for each and every last one of you. I enjoyed you being here. Thank you so much. I definitely did. And I will see you all soon. You have a great rest of your week, okay? Stay prayed up. See y'all soon. Bye for now.